In today's episode of the Pathmonk Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Nora Stambovsky, who's hailing over from the folks over at MDM, Modern Driven Media. Today, we want to really talk about these digital marketing agency based over in Philadelphia, and we want to be learning all about what they are thinking about growth. Specifically, Nora is an expert in the topics of video funnels, and we want to really talk about that and how you can avoid the so-called click tax. Welcome to the show, Nora.
Hey there, it's excellent to be here and can't wait to get into it.
Very cool. So maybe give people like a brief overview. What is modern driven media all about?
Well, MDM is a HubSpot partner agency, and so we help people with everything from onboarding to support to implementation, migration. We also have a creative arm that is doing things like organic social, email marketing. I am the growth implementation strategist at MDM, and that is our title for what was sort of the amalgamation of two departments. I'm in charge of all paid media and all reporting because paid media was a very heavy on reporting subject and department. And I got very into the platform's data box and HubSpot's internal reporting. We decided to sort of fuse that all together. So I do the reporting for all types of clients, whether they're getting our creative marketing services or just HubSpot implementation. And of course, I do the detailed reporting on our paid media as well.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Now, what types of customers you would typically be working with? How should we imagine them to be like?
So MDM has a couple industry niches because really we have a technology niche. We are very HubSpot to the core. So we deal with a lot of professional services, a lot of software companies, SaaS, B2B. We do have some consumer facing companies that we're working on their HubSpot and we're working on their creative. I would say that's the main three is SaaS companies, consumer goods, and professional services. That gets pretty broad for as far as industries go. So the way that we are niching ourselves is as a technology niche of HubSpot implementation, data box reporting, and the various integrations and stuff that goes along with that.
Gotcha. That makes a whole lot of sense. Now, how do people learn about MDM? Like, what is sort of the journey looking like? What are the channels that you guys are tapping in?
So MDM is getting a lot of attention at various like in-person networking events in the Philly area. I'm actually in Vermont, but I visit Philly every once in a while to go to the office. My family's around there. We get a lot of our inbounds come as actually as referrals from former clients. We will get an email from someone who used to work for one of our clients and now they're bringing their new company on. It's stuff like that. A lot of network and referral traffic as far as how we're getting new clients. We don't so I don't actually run paid media for our company. We haven't needed to.
Mm.
We run it for our clients. My experience is in running it for businesses that aren't marketing agencies. So we're very blessed to have very happy clients that keep us full of referrals. And we do get some inbounds to the site. We have a couple pieces of content that we have that are maybe attracting some people in that sense. But it is definitely a lot of network and referrals.
Very cool. We chatted briefly actually before the episode about the video funnels, right? And sort of something that's very close to your heart and to your work. Maybe share with people a little bit about it, and maybe what are sort of like some common misunderstandings even out there in the market about it.
So video funnels is something I started developing before I was working at MDM, but I've definitely developed it more at MDM than anywhere else. It was when iOS 14 hit, there was a lot of doomsday about sort of paid media, paid social specifically. Pixels weren't tracking conversions, they weren't tracking visits as effectively as they used to. And at the time, I was working with a lot of local brick and mortar service providers like massage therapist studios, chiropractors, things like this. And what my boss and I at the time decided to try was sort of the rudimentary version of what I would nowadays call a video funnel. We lucked out. We had some clients that had some really great YouTube videos that we were able to repurpose for this. We made them about a minute and a half to 3 minutes long. And the idea was that they would serve as a filter where, it's very unlikely that someone's watching 45 seconds to a minute of that video if they're not in some way interested. And what we saw was that, especially with iOS 14 and sort of the lack of clarity that had started to come about, we were seeing that these videos were a much cheaper way to get a retargeting audience built, build up extra touch points with these prospects. And we were seeing really great conversion rates, better than even before iOS 14 when we were using website retargeting. We were seeing great conversion rates, and we actually had a fascial stretch studio that had to move to a new, larger space, partially because I don't want to take all the credit, but partially because our ads led to such an influx of business for them. So that was a really great success story.
Very cool. Now, so tell me, sort of, for which types of marketers or which type of use cases the video funnels work quite well. Maybe if you could sort of, give a bird's eye perspective.
Yeah, so I've recognized it because I'll see someone doing it to me, and I think people don't talk about it very much. I actually get ads for various sort of creators, course creators and stuff, where they're trying to convince me that their secret to their success of their ads is one or another technique. And then I see that they're using video funnels, and I almost feel like they're trying to keep it a secret, or it's something that they don't want other people to know about.
Mm-hmm.
I know Gary V talked about it a couple times and called out the fact that the Kardashians use this technique to take, they don't run a video view campaign, which is how I start mine because nobody has that type of organic traffic like the Kardashians do, but they actually will get 1 million views on an organic video, and they'll create a retargeting audience for the certain percentage of people that watched it 100% the way through. And that is how there's a very cool interview between the person who does Gary V's paid media and someone who was inside at the Kardashian organization that revealed that. So I think e-commerce is a place where it happened more quickly, and I see it really often. I'll get a video ad for a product once a month or once every 3 months, and then as soon as I watch past a certain threshold, I get it, dozens of times the same week, different ads from that same brand. And I don't have anything beyond my experience here. I've talked to a couple e-commerce people, and they seem more familiar with it. I've seen some really great success in B2B, in SaaS. I think it's an easier sell for e-commerce because there is an actual self-guided sale at the end of the tunnel. Whereas with SaaS, what we're really talking about here is building demand that takes a longer time to build than it does for a $50 e-commerce product. And we're talking about the end of the tunnel is an MQL that is much more qualified than you might have gotten by offering a download or what have you. I do see it as something that happened first in e-commerce and is now I'm starting to see it in B2B, in educational products, in SaaS, and in industrial and professional services.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Very, very cool. Now, I'd like to switch gears a little bit and talk with you a little bit about sort of your journey. I got some rapid fire questions as we slowly but surely moving towards the end of the episode. Are you ready for those?
Yeah.
What is the last book that you read?
Alchemy by Rory Sutherland.
What would be the one single thing that your marketing team is focused on the most at the moment?
We're all making a case study right now. We're all working together on that right now.
Very cool. If there would be no boundaries in technology and you would have a magic wand, what's the one single thing that you would want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Ooh. I'd want cross-platform video retargeting.
Very good. And for the very last question, if today would be your very first day as a marketer, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
Um, Always go back to first principles. Don't get shiny object syndrome about all of the new stuff that's coming out. When you find something that's really great, it's going to be because it appeals to a first principle, and that's probably what I would say.
No, I really appreciate that insight. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all about MDM, what we discussed today, what's the one thing they should remember?
That you can't force people into wanting your product. All you can do is give them the information, and that's what we try to do at MDM is find the people who are already interested, find the people who have the problem, and make them aware of the solution for our various clients.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmonk Presents.
Thank you.